Okay, so it's 5:01 on the 1st. And it's funny because I was going to start, it said 5 o'clock because I was going to start. And I was like, oh, wait a second, I got to go look up something. Something that I'm going to talk about. And then when I finished reading it and I went back, then it was 5:01. I was like, that's so funny, 5:01 on the 1st. Which, oh my God, last night was hellacious. Oh my God. Okay, there's a bunch of stuff. So it's like a tsunami comes into my brain for a minute. Okay, so let's see, starting out, it's Happy New Year's. This is going to be a good one. Which is odd because we start the new year mid-year. It's like they have us so out of whack. But this is our celebration. And which this morning I have been on looking to see, what happened in other places. Some stuff happened in places. Some violence and things happen in different celebrations and stuff. And nothing. I can't find anything. The only thing I have seen about anything has been in Scotland. And it was just their big, massive celebration, which I'm sitting there watching their big demonstration and their ritual and stuff. And I'm thinking, God, I'm such a... the fireworks and stuff just irritate me. But it's one thing when you go down to a place and go for the celebrations. Another thing when everyone in the neighborhood decides to just freaking rock it out. It's just like, I don't know. Especially if you have dogs. People who have dogs are not excited about everybody in the neighborhood deciding that it's time to do fireworks. It's aggravating. And I'm so stupid to think, like, I'm sitting here looking around, and I'm like, oh, there's not, I don't think it'll be a big thing out here. It'll probably be real quiet. May hear somebody, out with this, because that goes all day. But then, which somebody did, it was in Oklahoma, I think, and she was sitting, Christmas Day, sitting out on her porch with her family, holding one of her great grandkids. And the neighbor got himself a new one of these for Christmas, and he was practicing out back, and a stray went in and just got the lady right there in front of her whole family. He's arrested, but and he feels real sad that he did that. But police said, you don't have any kind of barrier, you have nothing out here, no, I guess if you're gonna target practice, you have to have some kind of a barrier thing so things can't go past, especially like there's a house behind you. What? But that is where I was telling my brother, I can't even stand to be outside when they're sitting there going, because I feel like, I'm gonna get astray. And he said, no, they're doing birds. He said, buckshot can't go that far. The thing the guy had was a Glock 45 or something like that. It was practicing in his neighborhood. So I don't know if that goes further. I would think rifle would go further. But my brother said that it comes out like buckshot and it just spreads. And it can't go all the way across because they're out on this island. But I hear them out the other direction too. So I don't know where all they're allowed to do what they're doing out here. I'm not sure. Lately, even when I've done some videos showing outside, you can hear them. So there's been a lot, and it always freaks me out. But then that story pops up, and I'm like, oh my God. See? It's freaky. Even sitting in here, when you hear them just going and going and going, and it's like, oh my God, could one go through the building? Could one come through the window? But I don't know. I guess they can't travel that far, but still, it gives you like this eerie feeling, if you ask me. So, anyways, but over here, I was thinking, oh, it'll be calm. It won't be anything. Now I'm sitting here thinking, oh man, over in my neighborhood, out in the cabin that was out from town, that it was horrific. It was horrible. They were going till like 3 or 4 in the morning. And so I was like, I don't know. I wasn't thinking about that, I guess. And it's just everywhere. I don't think there is any place that they don't go crazy. And so I had fallen asleep. And then I don't know. I think Stella woke up, and then after she woke up, oh, but the nice thing is I brought in these donut beds. Ruthie loves this one, and the dogs have all been sleeping in beds, and I've been having the bed to myself. It's like, oh my god, it's the best thing. Just spread out. So, anyways, I think I'm gonna have to order another one that's bigger. But right now, she's loving this one. She's curled up in it right now. It's like a little, these donut ones, and they've got little walls. It's like a little donut, and they go inside, and they're all cozy. Max loves, or Archie loves them too. So anyways, they were all both curled up. Archie and Ruthie were curled up in two of them next to each other. And Stella was in her bed. So anyways, she woke up. I think she wanted more medicine or something. And then, so then Ruthie got up. And then she wanted to go outside. And I had no idea what time it was. I was dead ass asleep. And then, so she's outside and she just keeps barking and barking. So I keep going out there. And the light wasn't coming on. So I got the flashlight and I keep looking because I keep thinking, oh my God, is the coyotes out there? Hurry up, just go to the bathroom and get in the house. And so I keep trying to look and see if there's a coyote with the flashlight because I don't hear anything. I have the door open and stuff. And she keeps jumping up, or outside, she keeps looking over in this certain direction and barking and barking. And, which gets me all freaked out, you know. I start thinking about skinwalkers and shit. And so, and coyotes. And so she keeps doing that, and she's scared. She's totally scared. And so finally she goes to the bathroom, starts to come back in, and then stops, goes back out, and starts barking and barking and barking. And I'm like, get in here. And so finally I get her in, and I look at the time. It's like 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, oh my God. Oh, this night's just getting started. So, she goes then, and she's totally freaked. So she gets up on the bed, and she's just sitting there staring at the door. No, at first I think she just sat in front of the door staring at the door. And I'm like, what the hell? The door is shut. Nothing's coming through the door. Just come and lay down. And so then I finally get her to come and sit on the bed. So she comes in, she's sitting on the bed, still high alert, just staring at the door. And I'm like, come on. And then she may have laid down for a second, then she jumps up and starts barking again. I'm like, what the hell? And then I think it was just her. None of the other dogs were reacting or anything. And I was like, what in the world did she see out there that has her this freaked out? And so she keeps barking and barking. She won't settle down. So I give her some of the CBD, and she goes over and she gets in the donut bed thing, and she's sitting there and sitting there. And then I start hearing this pop, pop, pop. And every time there's a pop, she jumps up and starts barking. I was like, oh, so it was, it had to be fireworks that she was hearing outside. And it was scaring her. And all the other dogs, they aren't. One thing that's nice is Stella isn't, I mean, she may have been reactive her first go round, but whatever, over the years and years, and then like thunder and all that stuff, I kept talking to her and getting her to stop being reactive about it, calming her down, telling her it's okay, it's this, it's that. And so then after a while, she just sits there. So she doesn't react to it. Even at our house before we had the dogs and stuff, and they were doing all of those at the cabin, she would just sit there. She'd just lay there. She wouldn't get all freaked. And it was always sad, though, because there was always dogs that would be reactive, and they would run. There was dogs running away. The next day, you'd always have these people who would be like, has anyone seen my dog? They ran off because of the fireworks. They got so freaked. And so, anyways, it's a, and that didn't even count the vets and stuff out there who have the PTSD. So it's like, why don't we think about that stuff? Why I don't it's like this, and I swear to God I say this every year. It's just like this total selfish world out there. So so then I keep hearing it, and it's going pop, 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 and it's just like, oh my God. And but finally then the CBD kicks in and she just goes to sleep. So we all go back to sleep. And then I did hear, and then I was like, okay, this must be midnight now, because it woke me up because there was so much. Oh my God. It was just crazy, and that's where I could have, got excited and got up and went outside, maybe seen a lot of pretty sparkly colors in the sky. But I was just like, it was weird because I was like sleeping but aware and could hear it, but was thinking, there's no way I'm getting up. And it's freezing cold here. It's in the 20s. It's so cold, which it feels like it's even colder than the 20s to me. I am being a total what? I swear to God, I don't think it's just this winter though. This winter, I am just wussed out, man. It's just like fucking cold. I don't want to do shit. I want to just stay in the blankets. I just want to stay in bed. I'm so just like cold to the bone. And then, and then plus, it's like this facade or something, this bright sun. But today is supposed to be raining. I think it's supposed to be sunny for a while, and then it's gonna go into rain. And then, but when it's really sunny, and right now, the moon has been huge and it moved across, and it's up over there. It's not down low, but it's like it's super cloudy, so it's very more vague. You can't see it really good, and it's not bright at all. It's really dark out and cold. So, anyways, but yeah, they had quite the celebration out here. And then I was like, even thinking, well, maybe it's the little town. Maybe they have a whole thing. Maybe I should just get more into being a participant and not, just sitting here. But I mean, there's lots of people who have dogs who have to stay at home that night anyways because their dogs lose their minds. And so lots of people have to not participate in this celebration. And I don't even know, why did it become like the celebration? Why did it all become so much about noise? Like, why don't we ever celebrate quietly? Like, why does everything got to be so disruptive to everybody else? Like, it doesn't matter who's participating and who's not participating. We're going to make sure everybody gets it. I don't know. Just, it's like this, I don't know. I feel like a more mindful society, that we would be less intrusive into everybody else's lives over our celebrations, into everything we do. And it's like, I feel like it's such a highlighted thing at this point, because it is something that we need to consider. Why do we think that we need to draw everybody else into what we're doing? And why aren't we ever considerate of our neighbors and other people? Why we just prioritize our own? I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't get the whole, like, it's 2026 now. Let's freaking make a lot of noise and set off fireworks and stuff. It's just like, I don't know. It's just not my thing, I guess. But anyways, so that little message. Oh yeah, and there's this folklore from the Appalachian. And it is, whatever you do today is what you're setting the tone for the rest of your year. So you're supposed to not just spend it cleaning and arguing and fussing and stuff. Like, here I'm starting now. But because you're setting the tone for your year. So, and there's more to it. But anyways, just be mindful of that. Whatever you are putting your energy in today is setting the tone for your year. So, then, but I was looking to see, like, if anything was going down in any of these cities. So it was, we go through the 31st, and I think LA is still here. I think California is still here. So that is quite a few. There's quite a few people who's like that. There's a bunch of people who are prophesizing that it was going to happen in December. So I don't know. I don't know when it's going to happen. And it kind of irritates me when people keep putting dates out because I believe it's one of those things of like, we won't know the date, even though it's like, oh, well, when people start seeing these dates, it's like, well, fuck, I don't know. I don't know their abilities in prophesizing. I don't know what their guy, I don't know. And especially the kid with the NDE. But but the but it kind of irritates me about when people do dates because the thing is that when the date goes past, then people like, see, it didn't happen. We don't have to worry. It's like, no, it's coming. These things are coming. These big changes are coming. And you got to stay alert. You got to stay prepared, which I looked on the map yesterday. So on this Utah thing, which then I saw more, I wasn't exactly correct over how the states work because it goes California, and then Nevada, Arizona, Utah, New Mexico, Texas, and then, but the Wyoming is like running kind of by Idaho under Montana, which I was like, fuck, I don't remember that. I don't remember going through Wyoming to go. I kept looking at it and I was like, well, how would we have gone? Because we went through Arizona. I was sure we went through Nevada too, but I've gone so many times across this. I used to drive from California to Texas, so many times. I have done so many road trips over here in this part of the country, but but so I did not remember at all going through Wyoming because we went through Utah, and then I was like, well, then how did we get through to get up here? Because I thought we were in Montana after that, but we would have had to go through Wyoming or Idaho to get there. I was like, oh my God, I do not remember that at all on this drive. It seemed like to me we were going through Utah for a long while, and then all of a sudden, it seemed like we were in Montana, but we had to go through Wyoming. I was like, I don't know. Like when I was sitting there looking at it, I was thinking, why would my road trip not match? Like, is this right? Are they fucking with us? Is this like the right way? And in Colorado, and so Wyoming, and I see because we went to when I was a kid. We went on this big road trip, and we went up to Yellowstone, and then we went to Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Then we went over to California, to Southern California. And I remember all of the different drives. I remember we went through lots of mountains, and I was like on the edge of my seat, like it was freaking me out, looking out the window, and we're on these mountains and stuff. But I don't, when I sit here and think about these road trips, I swear to God, it wasn't matching the map. Because I was like, that is so weird. So Wyoming, and then Idaho is here, Utah is here, and then Montana is here, then the other part of Idaho is here, then Washington's here, Oregon's over here, and California's down here. But but I kept on thinking, and then the North and South Dakota, but I kept thinking it was more like Montana, Wyoming, but it's like down. I was like, that, I swear to God, it doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I don't know. It just is weird when you go, but also, I don't know. This, I don't even know. I have to just leave it there, as it just doesn't make any sense to me. I can't wrap my head around it. And, but what I can was, what I was trying to look at is this Salt Lake that in Utah, that this lady says is going to blow because of something with, the chemicals or the salt or something, and it's drying up and it's causing all these chemicals, and then this creating this dust that's getting everybody sick. Everybody's getting super sick, and it's gonna kill all these people. And then knowing how the doomsday map or the naval map, whatever, has this big chunk out there. And so I was looking to see exactly how it lined up. That's how I was so like, why, oh, what? In Colorado. And so where it is, and then I looked at the doomsday map. So I was looking, I was like, oh, it is in a it is right where it is like equal going around. Where if it were to blow all these, so it really does make me think like, man. And then so then I was looking at, so down on the southern part, then I was like, so like a hurricane could come up through there and create this force with the water or something. So there could be that comes up more from the bottom, and then up here, this blow thing. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. It's like, I don't know if, I mean, I know that these things are going to change, but I don't know if it's going to be like earthquakes, volcanoes. There's another volcano that has started erupting. Then I don't know if it is, how it's going to go down. That's the thing. It's like anytime I look at it, it seems like chaos. It just seems super chaotic. And, like I was like a clip out of one of those Armageddon movies or something, and people running and water. There's always water, and so I don't know. It's not going to be good, whatever goes on, but it's going to be that whole coastline. But down like by New Mexico and stuff, like it comes up in this big, comes up like this big part, which I was always thinking, like, wonder how that happens. Why does it go up like that? But then when you look at this Salt Lake and then you see like, oh, if it blew and it took out all of this, how many ever miles going around, which in the United States map I was looking at, I was like, well, it is a little bit further from Boise. I don't know if it would totally affect Boise, but over there is a chunk out of Idaho and Colorado, Wyoming. Wyoming isn't, I don't think, is affected. Wyoming may be a pretty safe place to go if it's there, which is so strange. But but Utah's gone. Utah's gone. But Utah carries a lot of dark energy. And I think that it just is a society where we were aware of the polygamy, and not just that, but that this hidden agenda of these child brides, like some of these, whatever they call them, not preachers or something, they're leaders or whatever. I can't think what they're called, but they have a title that they're stacking up like 12, 13-year-old girls is their as brides and shit. Like there's some of these girls that as soon as they become like 10 years old and this leader guy decides who's who, then they start preparing them and getting them ready. It's like an honor to have this fucking it's cult lifestyle, man. It's just very so and there's even more dark things that have gone on there besides just the weird religion stuff. All you got to do is just look for some of these people who do a lot of research over stuff of the history of Utah and stuff like that, and in the conspiracy behind some of this stuff, and you find out like like there's places where like there's all sorts of stuff. I don't know because I don't go and look all that stuff up. I just see people talking about it. But anyways, there's a lot with that place. So it doesn't surprise me at all that it would just be blown right out of existence. Because so much stuff has such carrying this dark energy. And I think part of our awakening is coming back into balance or unity with our space. And just like here, to me, and I know, some people think it seems kooky and stuff, but these thorns, like as soon as these goat head thorns, when you go out and there's so much of them, and you step on them and they're vicious, and the dog, like it's so stickery and prickly in the land. it's like the land is giving feedback over, is like it doesn't trust you, it doesn't want you here, it's it wants to push the people away. And there's these like, well, you want to think like ancient spirits, the ancient energies of situations that occurred. And so so the so they really do, like, if you can think of them as like hauntings or ghostly, and but it's energetic, and it's like trapped energy, and then there's like protective energies, and there's like these battles that go. But so it seems like to me that the land was pushing back, and it's kind of trippy right now how it's turning so green, which I know that everything is more complex because there's weird things going on in our world, that everything's out of whack, seasons and time and everything. But I have been going out and doing these offerings, giving back, to the animals in the land, giving them this food, and and it has started turning super green. And then I haven't heard the coyotes in a couple of days, and then maybe a week, and then of course it went through my head like, oh, what if I killed them with the bones? Oh, I hope I didn't. I don't want to harm anything. But the but that time though, whatever, a week or two ago, when I heard them, and it didn't sound like dogs. It sounded like these Indian warriors out getting ready to go into battle. It was so trippy. God, it was weird. It was like this weirdest thing of what they sounded like. And then the next time I heard them after that, they were out talking to each other. They were like communicating, and you could hear them. And one would make a certain sound, and then another would answer, and it was just this whole thing. It was really trippy. And I think, the animals kind of are connected to the spirits of the land. And so, and then I know, because of the location and stuff with this Oregon Trail, and my brother saying there's all these arrowheads and stuff, that the energy would be this battle, and and it would be the colonizers, the white man, the whatever, coming and causing this destruction, would create this resistance. And then you have all these people who come out and buy the land and build their big houses on the river and stuff like that. So it is it's like pushing back on a certain energy, because really we shouldn't even be, it shouldn't be statusy. It should just be that we all have, just like how the tribes and stuff, they used to live on the river. They didn't have to pay for that. They used to just live out there, and it was a necessity to their lives. And here we are, and it becomes status. And so anyways, it's just this friction between these energies. And I feel like it's a part of our coming into our connection, is to read what it is the land and what it is the energies, the spirits are telling you. What are they saying to you? What is it they're doing? And then I do think that there is something to the offering and the celebration, or the ceremony of bringing the energy more settled, and showing trust, showing that you care. And I just saw this lady, and it was a lady, like a little old Chinese lady or Japanese something, and so it was an Oriental lady, and she kind of spoke broken English, but she was saying about the I can never repeat other people's stuff, but so that we are a mix of the heavens and the earth. We're like a bridge as humans, and that the earth is in our, something with the heavens is our heart. And I've heard so much stuff too with the chakra thing. I don't even understand why somebody would think it's a good idea to remove your chakras. I think you're going at it the wrong way. So whoever these spiritual people are out there telling you to remove your chakras are, and if you go and try and do it, which I don't even know how you can do it, but in your mind, I don't even know. Some of this stuff seems so absurd and ludicrous to me. But anyways, so there's something about the connection. But she was saying a big part of this awakening, this realigning, this ascension, is this coming back into a protector of the earth and taking care of the earth and showing it that you're there for it and stuff like that. Something like that. I would have to share a video because I can't ever repeat some of these stuff to what they're saying. But it was, I just thought, oh, that's, because I do think that that's true. I do think that we do need to come back into being caring for the earth and showing, giving that energy. And so anyways, her video was good. And I've seen a whole bunch more of that, whatever his name is, Galakai or Galecki or something. This character that somebody has created is like a disclosure that says a whole bunch of stuff, lots of stuff, talks about different beings, talks about our history, talks about what's coming, and he was saying all these, this is a whole huge thing, like all these different beings from all over. We've got tons of beings that are here trying to help us in the ascension, and then we have tons of beings that are here for the ascension. Like, this is a giant thing. This isn't just earthlings. This isn't just humanity. This is a universal consciousness, like flipping over. It's like this big flip in energy, and tons of beings, even beings, have been around since the last one. I mean, this guy, he said, if you don't get in on this one, he said, don't worry, you just go to another place and go back into another 28,000 year cycle or something. So if you have to go back through the cycle, but that's the thing, is that some of these beings are like really old like that, are here for this cycle. And then we have tons and tons that are assisting us, giving us information, talking to us in our sleep, meeting up with us in our dreams, trying to teach us, help us, and everything to, get over ourselves, to pull us back into the reality of the soul, and to get us out of the trap of this illusion of a reality. And the which there's a lot of stuff that's supposed to go down about the money thing. Oh, even the lady from Australia who talks about the healing beds thing. So she said, and she doesn't just talk about that, she also talks about the EVA, the RV, which I'm not even sure what the fucking RV, it has something to do with the money. That's what I know. And last night again, man, there's night after night, I just keep kicking my own ass. And then it's like, this is where I've got to learn to not just kick my own ass over some of this stuff. Like, each night I've been kicking my ass over something. And it's got to be some kind of thing of letting go of certain energies through this. And having to process them, look at them. But again, on the silver thing, it's like, why? Why didn't I buy more? Why, when I was at my mom's? And then I started seeing, like, okay, well, you did get all this stuff to do a garden. Then you went and saw your brother. Then you went and saw your brother again. Then you had to prepare for, like, there was, like, things going all the time. But it was like, dang it. I just was like, jeez, why didn't I get more? Guys, the lady with the 250, and there's probably people who got more. It just keeps being like, oh, man, why did I think I had enough? Like, god dang, I should have got more. So, which I don't know. I mean, if you can buy more right now, It's up at like 85, and China has shut down. Like they're not selling, they're keeping theirs. And then there's businesses like, Elon's and stuff, who bought up a ton while it was cheap, and now there's this huge thing going on. And it's a huge thing to kind of show the power of the properties of the real metal, the asset, where it has been manipulated, so they can't manipulate this situation. I don't know how it all is going, but it's crashing in on the banks. And so today is supposed to be some worthwhile thing towards our new future and leaving the slavery behind. And so the Australian lady, she said that she said, I saw the paperwork, and that in America that they are going to start they're going mainstream, or however it's going to go with those beds April 2nd. She said that it's going to be going April 2nd. She said, as long as they don't change the thing again, she said, I saw the paperwork. I saw it. It was signed, everything. Which, I don't know. I don't even know what, she has access to. I don't know anything that, I don't know much about this lady. Except for she's always come on and said all this stuff about this stuff. She said the RV thing starts this week. That they're going, I don't know, that we're going to start being notified. That I've heard this before. So we're going to start being notified. So watch our emails or whatever. I'm not sure. She said that the first things that will happen is free energy. And she said that we're not going to have to pay for electricity anymore. And we're not going to pay for internet anymore. And we're all going to get these phones, quantum phones or something. And so that's supposed to be like right off the bat. In the RV, I think it's something with the reevaluation. And I think it's something about when they call you in to talk to you about your money situation. And which that would be, and it's I don't know, I think, like if you go and you have, and you're talking to them, and you have business ideas, that they will give funding towards things that seem like they're going to build up businesses and communities and stuff. I think there's going to be a lot of assistance in rebuilding our lives after this collapse, and that and then the reevaluation of like your, because there's even a thing about like interest was illegal. And so all the interest you have paid throughout your life is coming back to you. And then there's supposed to be things like Social Security is going to go up. There's supposed to be things like if you're going to do your kids' education, you get a bunch of money. There's going to be all sorts of things like that. So I think that is kind of like when you do the RV thing, and you get called in to for like financial counseling. And so it's like helping you reset. Like I'd be going like, I want to get a house, like however it's going to go, if it's supposed to be that I'm going to get one out here, and, or, I don't know, I don't know, it's like, when we go, are they going to be like, if we're in certain areas, are they going to say like, that they would say, I don't know that they could just tell you, evacuate, because then they're crossing karmic lines, but they could make offers. And then if you feel inclined, that is because your soul is telling you like, yes, go that direction. And so maybe they'll be like, well, we've got communities we're trying to build up in these certain locations, and we have incentives. If you want to come here, we'll give you this, and this. You get some land, you get a house, whatever. However it's going to be, I'm not sure. So that's what we'll see. Hopefully it really is this week. Like, hopefully, you know, she's right on that. She said that before they were going to do this big EBS thing, and that they were going to take over the channels. And some of us, I mean, if you've been listening to a lot of this stuff for years and years, you've heard this, that it was going to be 8 hours, 8 hour sections, and then it was going to be on repeat, 24 hours a day. There was nothing you would be able to get on TV except for this information. And she said, oh, and before, we were always being told that it was going to include the things that, you know, the tribunals and what is that called? When they say what they did, the people, when they have to say, yes, I did this, yes, I did that, that kind of situation. And then the ending situation. But she said that they reevaluated that and they decided that that was low vibration. And they don't want to take us back to medieval times where we're all sitting and watching people be executed. So that they are not doing that. That's not going to be a part of it. What it is going to be is it's supposed to start right away. That's going to be like one of the big things that starts right away, supposedly. So these are the things to watch for, kind of, is the how it's going to start is the VOTE and the FRAUD. And the big names, of course, that are going to be called out first is, you know, Barack team and the Hillary team and the Joe team. And, oh, and the, you know, the foliage team. So there's going to be these certain names that are going to be called out right from the start, and they are going to, whatever that is, say what they did, admit to their stuff. And I don't know. I don't know if we're just going to see a rise. I don't know, because supposedly we're not going to be taking down this whole thing of low vibration and watching it all go and being excited, you know, good, you know. So, because we need to be raising our vibration at this time, not getting sucked down with more of the drama and more of the, because that would essentially, from your soul's purpose, that would be more distraction to keep you in the low vibration. So it makes sense that they would do a reevaluation, and there probably was other beings that were saying, hey, no, let's do this different. And so anyways, I don't know, but that's what she said. And so she said that that was going to go, and that this stuff is supposed to all be starting right away, starting this year, but that the beds will be April 2nd, where they're going to stream. But then before, she had said, when you go into your RV, whatever this financial counseling thing is, that they will scan you. And in the scan, it will show your where you're vibing. And if you are vibing high enough, that you can go into one of those. And if you aren't, then you have to be more prepared. And so, so maybe if that is also a part of what's going to happen, then maybe, you know, some people will be going in before April 2nd. And then there's supposed to be also people who are super, super sick. Like if you're, you know, on the verge of being gone, then that was supposed to be another precursor to getting early access. So I don't know if those still hold true, or if it's just going to be, oh, April 2nd, everybody line up. I don't know. So we got to see. But there's supposed to be a lot. I mean, there is a lot going on. There's a lot going on with the silver. There's a lot going on with the institutes, the financial institutions, the different countries. There's a lot of things going. Oh, yeah, and another thing is supposed to be that we're going to find out about this battle zone that we've been dealing with for fucking since this all started between the Vladimir and Z. And so, and also, of course, the real, but she said the stuff that's going to come out is going to be shown that it was about the Vladimir was really fighting against the LABs and going against that whole situation, and that So it's going to be like an elevation, not, because before they tried to market like he was trying to steal their land and do this stuff, but really he was trying to, get us out, get everybody, get especially his country out from under these mad scientists. And so, anyways, but they're supposed to be, those are supposed to be these big things that are supposed to be where we're going to, be the headlines in the news and stuff. And, but we do still have these situations, and maybe they have some kind of a plan to, move a lot of people out of Utah before it goes. Because there's a lot of places, man, when you think about if all those places went with all those people, the whole West Coast, all through New Mexico, Arizona, and up into Utah and stuff, that is a lot of people. So that does seem like it would be a huge part of the population in America. So I don't know. Well, I don't know how it's going to go. Like I've said, I'm watching and trying to put the pieces together just like everybody else of like, okay, well, this, got this, and I do think there is this sense of, just letting go and learning how to trust the process and not be so caught up in how things happen, and remember that we came here for this. But then there's also this part of me that just is naturally trying to put together the patterns and naturally trying to put together the information to understand what's going on. So anyways, I don't know. I just know that there's going to be big things that are going to happen with our land, and that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be gone at the same time. Those are like two things I know. And then trying to put them together with all of the stuff. So, and every time I look over there to the West Coast, it is just, it's so chaotic and it's so uncomfortable to even look at. And it's like trying to watch desperation, and it's just like it's like heart, it hurts your heart. So all I know is it's super uncomfortable, and it's definitely going to affect some people. I just don't know, how it's all going to go. So and it's not pleasant to look at. The so anyways, so and then the way that the algorithm is not showing anything, I was like, I wonder what has gone down overnight at all these different like at celebrations and different cities and different things. And so I don't know, my algorithm is so weird right now. But but maybe it is, just trying to just stay positive. Whatever is affecting different people, it's what they came here to be affected by. And whatever's happening in your current situation is what you came here for. And maybe we need to, just try and focus to stay in our own lane. Maybe that's what I need to do. But there is a part of me, who's always wanting to know, like, what's going on? What's going on? And so, anyways, I don't know. But I was talking to my brother yesterday, and he was, we were talking about a few different things. And I did ask him though, I said, about that, how if there's been a lot of earthquakes, he said there's always 2s and 3s going. And he said, but you don't really feel them. So there's lots of little ones going all the time, but you don't really feel them. But that's the thing, is it does show that it's unsettled. And besides the fact that if it is like a tsunami and it has something to do with what happens across the ring of fire, like, because everything is reverberating underneath us, everything is resetting. Yeah, it's like, okay, so what is that? So what is up is down, what is down is up, what is bad is good, what is good is bad, and going underneath and flipping it over. So it is like, energetically, it is like it has to go in and flip, just like we have to go in and flip ourselves So what is happening underneath us in our stability of our foundation of our planet, in our sense of reality, is flipping. It's unstable. It's moving, and it's gonna flip. And so what's happening under us is significant to what's going to happen, the flipping. And the so anyways, we were talking about that. And he was supposed to work last night, and I had said, well, be careful tonight. And he said, oh, I'm off now because I went on a big fire the other night. And so they had a big fire in LA, and it was like a big warehouse. He sent me the video. It was he sent me the news clip, and it was this big raging fire, and they worked on it for like 9 hours or something. And I don't even know how many different fire stations were out doing it. It was a big, big fire. And so I asked him some questions, I remember. And he said, well, what happened was it was a business, and they had like electric bikes or something. And he said that the guy had some lithium battery thing charging, and he left and went home, and he forgot to unplug it. And I was like, I don't remember all the stuff I was saying. So he was saying, so he forgot to unplug this thing. And I mean, I was just like being completely like in shock over some of the stuff he was telling me. I did a TikTok. I did 2 of them yesterday, because it was like, what the hell? This was like this learning thing to me. And I don't know, maybe everybody knows this, but I was planning on saying it on here this morning. But I said it yesterday on TikTok, but it was like, but I'm going to go in more depth on here. But so he said that, so that whatever this thing he had plugged in, it was charging with this lithium battery. So he went home, and then when he got home, he remembered that he had left it plugged in, but by that time the fire had already occurred. I was like, well, what? And so these batteries that they want us to all have in our garage, that they want us all to have these cars, that's the best thing for our environment, is, and I swear to God, Joe made a thing about making the other ones illegal, and we were going to have to all have these things in our garages. I had no idea that they were this unstable. And he was like, and so I'm just like, what? How, like, what? And he's like, yeah, they're super bad. They're super unstable. And he said, we have fires all the time for them. And I was like, shit. He said, yeah, there was one that a guy had an electric bike, and he went into an elevator, and that it blew in the elevator, and everybody got killed in this elevator. I was like, what? I mean, they have all of these electric bikes, electric cars, all this shit out there. Like in California, they have this thing called a Waymo or something like this, a Waco or something, and it is a car that drives itself. So these electric cars that drive themselves. And I'd seen lots of people talking about them in San Francisco, because when the power went out, all those cars stopped. They didn't know what to do. And so but he had said something about it, and he said that all those people that were getting so mad about, there's always protests and stuff, but all these people that were getting so mad about something, I don't even remember what it was he said that they were mad about, and they went out and they started blowing up these wacko cars, whatever they're called. And he said, so they all started blowing them or something. And he said that they didn't even realize what they were doing because how bad it is. He said, well, they have so many firemen that have lost their lives or have been seriously wounded over these things that I'm talking about. And he said because when they go, that they put out a whole bunch of toxic fumes, including carbon monoxide and cyanide, and that they fill your lungs, and so they give you severe damage. So they've got all these firemen that have got this severe damage, a lot of them having to be in the hospital, having to not work anymore, some being killed and stuff. But it is because you're breathing in carbon monoxide and cyanide and more toxins. And he said, so all those people that were out there doing that to those cars, that they didn't realize what they were breathing in. And they're probably, sick now. And I was like, oh my God. And I'm sitting here thinking about the whole Asheville situation. And that whole sense of, if you look into that conspiracy of what it is, this element that they are all trying to get, that there's a whole bunch of it there. And so they want to clear that land, these corporations clear that land so they could go in and mine it and get all of this stuff that makes these batteries so that they can, get us all to have them in our garages and stuff. I was like, oh my God. And then I started thinking, I just saw another one just a couple days ago where a car suddenly blew in the garage. And there's been so many of these Teslas that have done that, and then suddenly just blew in the garage. And now I'm like, oh my gosh. So is this probably has something to do with these batteries? And then you go outside, near your thing blows, you run outside and you're breathing in this stuff that is going to kill you here. And who knows how long? I guess it depends on how much you get in there and how, and then probably your overload that you are carrying just regularly and how it affects you. I was just like, oh my God. So that's probably why all these things are blowing. And I was like, why in the world? We are supposed to have these agencies. Like, we're all trusting in these agencies. They're supposed to be protecting us, these protective agencies. And I'm not even just talking about the C and the F, and I'm talking about but they go all together. I mean, like the FDR, like all of these, they pretend like they're there to help us. So you would think that they would be like, oh no, these are too dangerous. No, you're not selling these to people and having them put in their garages. Like, everybody's gonna be dead. And and then I start seeing the corporate, the lobbyists, and how this whole dysfunction works, and how they are able to sell us these things that are so dangerous, and then push it on us too, and tell us that everybody has to get one, that's going to become the law, you have to drive one. And so anyways, just coming into this understanding all of a sudden, and realizing what they're doing, destroying places so that they can get it, because they have every intention of making us all have them. And then and how unstable and how serious or how dangerous they are. Like, shit, if you get on an elevator, and I know in certain big cities that the couriers and stuff, there's a lot of people who go around on those electric bikes and shit, and even the scooters. Then and somebody gets on an elevator or something with one of those, like, fuck, man, get off the elevator. Don't ride with them. Like, they can blow. I was like, oh my God, what in the holy hell? And so so anyways, I was just like, yesterday when he was telling me that, I was just like, I couldn't believe it. I was just like, man, that is just, it's just shocking. It's just like, how, I go, what? I mean, it's one thing, the showering us with this stuff. Then they're freaking putting it in our water, then putting it all over our food. And then, getting it to where we're supposed to put it in our car, in our garages. And it's just, I don't know. Man, this place is so freaking whacked out. And then how we trust, that there's people out there who are trying to help. And then it's and I saw somebody who was saying this morning about what government means in Latin, and it means controlling your mind. So it's all about controlling you, controlling us. And that's where, when you start waking up, you start seeing it. You can feel it. It's like these people are just trying to control us. And even for years and years, I've been saying they control our movements through the city. They control everything about our lives. And it is true. And then they start being about their 15-minute places and stuff like that. And it's all about containing and controlling us. And that is the thing about this whole reality. It's like this containing and controlling. But at some point, if you think about like it in the sense of awakening, is when the people aren't awakened, they need the control and the containment, because they're not. But the thing is that they keep you trapped in that state of mind. You have to connect to yourself to pull yourself free out of that state of mind, to pull yourself free of the control and the containment, so that you can be free and sovereign. That's why this is such a huge thing that is happening, because of how the process occurs and how you have to do it for yourself to pull yourself free. And the freedom is the celebration, because it is pulling yourself free. And if it is in these big cycles of 28,000 years and stuff, one thing that this Galecki or whatever this character on the Atlas was saying too, is that, let me think, okay, the 28,000 year cycle, all these different beings that, oh, okay, because he's doing this breakdown on different beings. And so he'd already talked about the reptilians, and I already knew that some were good and some are bad. It's that's essentially through all different beings. And he said Lyrians, they don't really, they kind of are off doing their own thing. Arcturians, they're way high vibration, and they don't, like, they more communicate with us and try and help us, but they don't take on a form and come in. And but there's other ones that take on these forms. And so he said that they have there's a bunch of light beings, so they're just light. And he said they're all like going to the sun at this point to bring in all of this energetic surge that's supposed to happen, that creates this big solar flash thing. And so that there's all these light beings that are going there, which everything is energy and everything is lights and stuff. So the or everything is energy and vibration. And so the so that like creates the light, which there was something I said the other day, and I had like this thing where it was showing me like, wait, that's not right. But what was it? It was something, it was the way I was looking at something, and I can't remember it. It'll come back to me because it's come to me a couple times. But so the okay, so the light beings going into our sun, which is really like this portal of energy to me. And then it is so they're bringing all this energy, and then that gives us this flow. He said the energy that we've been going through so far isn't even to the point of turning everybody's DNA on yet, which I've seen so many different people now using telekinesis, moving things with they'll just do this and move things with their hands and their minds and stuff. And they try and explain how you do it, but it's like, I don't know. To me, it's like me trying to explain how you see things and talk. Like, I don't know. It's like, I can, you know what I mean? It's like, you just, I don't know. You just got to start, like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about this whole freaking thing. Like, you know, how certain people have certain things they can do. And so, anyways, but so all these ones are going to the light, and then so then we have other beings that are like trying to help and communicate and stuff like that, like the Pleiadians, the blue avians, the grays. Grays are not all bad. And there's these little minion grays, and I've heard about these before. He said they have to do with the Dracos. He said that the Dracos gave all of this technology to our people or governing forces, or whoever these people are, who the controllers, that they, but they also needed something from these other beings to get it to work. So I can't remember how he explained that, but so they can know certain things, but they need more, because everything is about like this merging of technology and spirituality. But it's like, because we are more higher tech. We're coming from such a low vibration and controlled environment, but things are so much more, you know. So, anyways, but he said that. So he showed these like triangle head people, and he said they don't really have a name. You just call them triangle heads. And he said that they are just here to help to humanity, like to help give us information and stuff. And he was talking about, you know, some of these beings, like the Anunnaki and like all these different ones that are ancient, like they're old in our sense of time, and that, but and for them they could still look like they're young. So time is way different. But some of these beings have been around for a long, long time. I think even if I said 25,000 years, I think that would not be very. I mean, I think some are way longer than that, and but the thing I was wanting to get to was, so he was talking about these orbs, and he was talking about, so there are these balls of light, and he said, something like, I think you know what these are, and said what their role is, what they're doing. And I was like, I think that's what is up in the sky. I think that's what it is these orb kind of beings. When I saw him showing those, because everything looks like that up there in the way that they move and stuff, but they are kind of like energetics that aren't in like a suit, like wearing these suit, like these avatar things. But to me, it is like, if you were to come out of your avatar, to me you would look like this ball of light. So to me, it's like the souls that are not inhabiting an avatar, and that those are all around us. And I had said that a while ago when it was some communication, and I was like, oh, those are all souls. And that's why I was like, okay, well, that's what we are on the inside. That's what's inside of us, is these orbs, these balls of light, these balls of energy. And that's what we are on the inside, like if we came out. But the thing is when we do come out, is we have a self-image. And so when I came out of my body, I didn't look down and be like, oh, I'm a ball of light. No, I only saw myself. So it's like a self-image. So, and I think that is kind of what an avatar is, kind of a self-image. And so some of these ones that have had these self-images, like for, 25, 50, 100,000 years, whatever. And so that they remain that character, that being, so that being becomes a representation of you. And so, and that's kind of what this ascension is, kind of, is like this being that I am playing now is kind of like who I will be for hundreds of thousands of years. That it is, but it's an accumulation of all these different aspects of me, but in the reference of how I would be viewed, like, would be this. And so that's how some of these people, like Pleiadians, the Anunnaki, like reptilian, there's a lot of beings that have been in their same expression for this long, long period of time. And it seems like that's what we're going into this ascension is so you remain this character for a long, long period of time. It becomes, you bring this character to life where it is like these orbs that are just out there and orbs. Maybe they haven't gone through that process, but that doesn't mean that they don't have any something to share. Everybody's got something to share. And everything, and when you share information, everything can help you, to enlighten you, to help you to grow and to understand more, because we all bring different aspects of learning and understanding to the forefront of existence. And so I was but that's why I was like, oh, okay. Because the orb thing, because I kept thinking, well, when we come out of ourselves and we were to, leave our bodies and stuff, but I think there's still a self-image that you see yourself. And when people who know you in soul world and the heavens, when you're outside of this body experience, they see you how they know you. And so we don't all just go around like a ball of light. But then think about like how Sonic, he's like going around like himself, but then when he wants to take off, he becomes like this ball of light, because that is one thing of like where we can move around much different. That's going to be the best thing, I think, of all of this advancement, is the way we're going to be able to get around and move and get to places so much faster, because I feel like it's such a limitation on our experience of how they control our movements. And the corporation always has to be such a part of this elaborate scheme of controlling us. And so once we are more in control of our movements, we'll be able to like, be like Sonic and take off. Like, I'm gonna go see my brother. I'm gonna go have lunch with him. Boom, I'm over there having lunch, and then boom, I'm back here. And so, or wherever I'm coming from, wherever I'm gonna be, I don't know. So, because I know I'm not gonna just be living in this little tiny space. I know I have more worth than that. I have more value. I have more expectation for myself. So, I know I'm going to have some bigger, better, even when I was like, well, maybe a little mobile home. And they're like, well, nice way to create limitation for yourself. So it's like, oh, okay, well, how about a mansion? Like, so anyways, like, but I don't know, whatever it is, however, I'll have gratitude. I kind of like the concept of having more than one house personally, but in different places, because I do like this being able to go for different experiences. It's been something ever since I was a kid. I want to have all these different experiences, and then you start finding out the limitations in this world through their monetary system, through their movement system, through all of their control system, which minimizes our experiences. And that's what's going to open up as we move forward. And so it's not going to be such a containment. We're going to have so much more freedom to experience the world and all the experiences that we want to experience. And so the biggest thing I swear to, I look forward to, well, the healing. I can't wait to get to this healing thing. And even if it is, it just makes me like feel so much more like, but those friggin' lines in the sand have moved so many times. It's like, well, hopefully it's soon. I can't imagine this year, but I mean, for a lot of years. So it's like, I can't imagine things not, but there has been things going, and then plus you have to put it in perspective, really. This is all about the awakening. It's all about the healing. And yeah, we want these big movements. We want these big signs and stuff like that. But really, it's our individual escaping this program that we've been controlled and contained into, and the setting ourselves free, and then creating the character that we are to become, that we're going to carry for the next fucking 100,000 years, whatever it is. And so anyways, but that is what all these different beings, because I had said that, I had talked about this kind of a few months ago, about the different beings, and that they are the same ones, but on the inside, if we all came out of our avatars, we would all be these like these orbs, these vibratory kind of energies. We would all be that kind of thing, this energy of but we are like transforming the energy into becoming us, but as energy that is unsure of itself. It is like a contained kind of a contained kind of, man, I can see it, but it's so hard to explain because it's like you have to contain and control this energy, and then but these certain beings that begin to control it feed off of it, and that is that's these certain, like these Dracos or whatever. And I don't even know what all beings do this. They feed off of this loosh, this energy, or whatever the energy that we put out. And then they even figure out ways to get us to constantly be putting out more through stress and anxiety, and like trying to rush through our lives and do the expectation, keep everything, like we got to work 40 hours, we got to pay our bills, we got to do this, we got all of that expectation that we put on ourselves, and we create all of this hostility in our own this sense of self, and this energy that we put out from the stress and the anxiety, the bitterness, the anger. And then, a lot of people, want more for their lives. They want to go out and experience more. They want better relationships and stuff, which creates more hostility, more resentment, more anger, more feelings of abandonment, more feelings of frustration. And that's where we have to flip it upside down and start going at it in a different process. And that's this awakening, is going at life in a different process, and starting to claim ourselves, take control of ourselves, starting to like acknowledge ourselves, and to what is that? It's the opposite of victim. Is take responsibility for ourselves and for our experience. And that's another level, and that's when you start setting yourself free, and they can't control you in the same way, so you start becoming unstable energy towards them. And then but you restabilize yourself and get control of yourself, and that is the development of the character that you are creating into this ascension process of who it is you're becoming. And then you are taking that character, the distance. You're going to go and be that character for a long time, just as like these people have been these characters for a long time. Like Palladians and stuff are like hundreds of thousands of years old and stuff. So in there, and so that is like this concept of this new earth. The earthlings is like this new space of these beings that become this character, just like the Pleiades, those characters that they have created, and then they have remained those characters for a long time. Now we're doing that, and then we are good, and that's where it becomes like these earthlings, and this new earth and the earthlings and the characters that we create. But then there's also a kind of in the awakening of our DNA and our understanding of ourselves, to be able to witness or recognize the more complexity to our state of being, of where it is, of all of the different experiences put together, because you aren't just an earthling, you are from a lot of different places, and you're going into being this newly developed organism. Like, so it is very exciting when and I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but I can definitely see this. I can understand it in like seeing it, but I don't know, if I'm saying it where it makes sense. But Yeah, so it is like this big thing of like you setting yourself free, and that's what they try and create so much distraction from. And that's why you don't want to get too hung up on focusing on all of their BS, because that BS is the distraction. Even, where so many people, want to watch the government go down and stuff like that, that's a distraction, because everything that isn't about you and your process is a distraction. But a lot of the situations occurring are to help you through your process. That's what these catalysts, these people who are here to create these catalyst moments in our existence, so that we reevaluate and we begin to expand ourselves and become more forthright in our state of being, so that we don't need to be this unstable energy that needs to be controlled by somebody else, because we begin to learn how to control our own energy. And it's like a maturity, it's like a learning. And then when you think about these planet situations, these opportunities of learning, and how many cycles you go through and all the experience, then you see like it is like a soul growing and restabilizing itself. And in this point too, where you start seeing it's very important as a part of your process, is this connecting to your higher self, connecting to your more advanced self. But I swear to God, and I've seen this in a lot of different ways, and I've explained it in a lot of different ways, I think, but it is like you, it's like this propagation, like your higher self is here, or your oversoul, because some people is like they have an oversoul, and then some people it's more of a higher self. It depends, because there's oversouls that are a whole bunch of different characters, and then there's higher selves that are putting a part of themselves out there. So it's like there's not just one thing. There's never just one thing happening. There's like a lot of different things. But so but then you growing, so like how I explained it before, like your higher self throws in this line, goes down into the depths of the vibration, and then you get down there and you wake up, and then you start experiencing. But it's so much like the Pinocchio stories. So many stories in our world kind of give us the story of what it is to be a soul. And so you go down and you go through these life journey, and you don't, and out of ignorance you don't know what you're doing, so you get yourself entangled. And then there's a process of getting yourself out of the entanglement, and that is your like karmic debt, like this what goes around comes around, this trapping. And so and you get entangled with these other beings, and so then you are your higher self is still there to communicate with you, but you become distant from your higher self. And so it's this long process of growth and reoccurring through different lives, and this connection, and beginning to listen to your higher self, and to let it lead you into your advancement of your soul. But then as you it's like you don't go back to it and just merge back in. It's like it's like you merge emotionally and have it help you, but then you become like propagating a plant. It's like that's an advancement for the higher self, because it's like then it is kind of like it has the abilities to communicate and help guide the soul through its learning. And so then once the soul reaches this point through its learning of this graduation occurrence, this ascension, then that is the creation of this other form of self that takes on its own force, its own life form. So everything is like this growth and expansion in the energetic field of life, in the spirit of sense of spirit, is this expansion of growth, and that is what we are doing here. And so all the different spirits are all having, this is like it's like, it's funny because here as the earthlings, that we are scared and all these scary things are happening. What's happening? Why is this happening? And then but all the beings around us are super excited for it. And that, I think, is a big thing that we got to get more into. They're just super excited for what's to come, super excited for, because we came here for this. This wasn't pushed on us. We came here for this experience, for this advancement. But I'm telling you, the most important thing is the road less traveled, to the path to self, the development of self, of breaking free from the prison and becoming self-identifying being of structure, of moral structure, and understanding the gift of life, and to the gratitude around being able to experience, and wanting to know what you want to experience, knowing what you want to experience, and then putting your energy towards it. So anyways, I've been talking a while, but that's what all this stuff is about. And and we are overcoming a lot of these battles. Like, they're out to fucking do us in but they feed off of our energy. That's all they care about. Just get your energy while it's hot. And they really like the childlike part of energy. And then as we go through a lot, we get petered out, we get run down, we get old and tired. And it's funny because we don't really get old, but they exhaust us, and they overrun us, overburden us. They strip us of our minerals just like they strip the planet. And then we become not as... we're discardable. Like, they don't need our energy anymore because there's not enough of it. But the young and excited, boy, they want that. So they want a high turnover. So it's like, yeah, get them all these cars and let's get rid of these people. We want to get them when they're young. Just get them. Okay, lady, I get it. So, anyways, she started doing that at 3 this morning. No matter how many times I was like, no, I don't want to get up. She just gets louder. So anyways, but the focus really needs to be on you. Like, I push and push and push and say, but it's so crystal clear, is the necessity of you becoming you, of this opportunity, of this advancement of your... Okay, just a second. Do you need to go out? And how you do it is learning how to love yourself. Learn how to love everybody. It's a part of it. And learning how to have the day you want to have. Figure out what it is you want. How it is you want to live. Where it is you want to be. And focus on it. And that is the sense of advance. This is breaking yourself free. It's pushing yourself where you want to go. So that's what we're all here to do. And it's going to become more and more clear, I think, as things continue to go. And there's going to be a lot less of them people being scared. And we're going to get a lot more focused on pulling ourselves free and becoming who we want to be. And so, anyways, and so I don't know what's going on today. Now we're in today's holiday, so there won't be banks open or anything like that. But tomorrow could be very significant. And so, yeah, the things we want to be watching for is definitely these emails, these RV things, these different things that are supposed to be happening. And hopefully they really do start coming in. And we really do see some positive changes start to happen in our existence. Because that will be, and the funny thing is, though, is that we are creating it. It's us that is doing it. And when it's not happening, and then you look around and you see all these people that are just fighting and arguing and just, like I saw so many videos of girls just trying on clothes, asking people, what should I wear out tonight? It's like, come on. So, anyways, but we'll see what this day brings us, because probably is going to bring something. So, you know, we'll talk about it tomorrow. So I'll talk to you later. Talk to you later. Bye.